often talk about the United States as a nation of immigrants, with a culture made up of aspects of cultures from around the world. Whether or not you believe that the United States is or is not a nation of immigrants in the political sense often discussed in the news, it is hard to deny the fact that the United States contains large numbers of immigrants, both documented and undocumented, from around the world, as well as their descendants. Today, I would like to explore the question, how does Latino urbanism and art, specifically muralism, contribute to the creation of a sense of place for Latino communities within the United States, specifically Los Angeles? According to the Los Angeles Times, LA County is now just over 50% Latino, which, for the purpose of this talk, means persons from Latin America and their descendants. This number stretches far beyond first or second generation immigrant families. These communities, though often excluded from mainstream media and history itself, have been a major demographic and cultural influence within Los Angeles and the surrounding area since long before the founding of the city proper. And this shows within Southern California through many different ways, and many researchers have qualified and quantified the Latino influence on Los Angeles through a multitude of fields: medicine, government and voting behaviors, and religious trends, to musical evolution and influence and dance. Today, however, we're going to put all of that aside and look at the effect of Latino influence on the street art and architecture of Los Angeles. This specific influence is called Latino Urbanism, a term which, according to the Los Angeles Times, describes the range of ad hoc ways in which immigrants from Mexico and Central and South America have remade pockets of American cities to feel at least a little like the places they left behind. One major way Latino urbanism manifests itself is through expressive culture, or the ongoing process of Latinas and Latinos physically appropriating public spaces in neighborhoods, towns, and cities, of metaphorically claiming space in the national American imaginary, and of staking a claim for the local and collective presence of Latino culture in the larger narrative of U.S. history. Now, that may sound really complicated, but many within the Latino community have found creative ways of claiming space and of sharing Latino history and culture within Southern California. The most prevalent of these is art, muralism to be precise. Muralism is different from the art you see in a museum because murals are seen by anyone walking by. For example, Pacoima, a part of the San Fernando Valley region of Los Angeles County, has become famous for its Mural Mile, a collection of murals done by local artists, a majority of whom are Latino or of Latino descent. Last month, I went to the Mural Mile, and in addition to seeing the murals, I talked with one of the muralists, Manny Velasquez. Manny told me that one of the main purposes of muralism as his chosen art form is the way in which it spreads through the community. He said, it doesn't matter if you like the art. If you look at it for even 10 seconds, as 10 seconds of your time that you have now given me, you're going to be thinking about that mural and what it says. And these murals draw from a multitude of factors. Political themes of immigration, environmentalism, and women's rights are seen alongside religious and cultural symbols. Each of these murals has a story that combines the stories of the community and of the individual artist. As an example, this is one of the murals that I saw in Pacoima. On the surface, it doesn't seem like an overtly Latino or political mural. However, once you examine the mural more closely, you can discover major aspects that give this mural its meaning. These books are about Latin American history and culture. They are all banned in Latin America and in a majority of high schools within the United States. Additionally, mixed in with the more modern bike paths are allusions to indigenous heritage, as seen in the inclusion of this pyramid. The bright colors, the mix of past and present, and the inclusion of wildlife references the themes of Mexican muralism found during Mexico's Cultural Revolution. 85.6% of Pacoima is Latino, and as such, the murals and expressive culture of the area have come to portray the beliefs and feelings of the Latino population within Los Angeles. However, It must be noted that the population of Latinos in Los Angeles is not of one group. There is incredible diversity of geographical and cultural backgrounds, and this diversity represents itself through the multitude of styles, messages, and subjects of the murals themselves. But the concentration of the broad Latino population in certain neighborhoods in Los Angeles coincides with the rise of muralism and public art. Another example of Latino urbanism is in the architecture of the streets themselves. Starting with the repeal of the ban on murals in 2013, the city of Los Angeles has begun to redo the layout of major Los Angeles streets, such as Broadway. The changes include adding more public spaces and parks, wider sidewalks, and more bike lanes, as well as numerous outside sitting areas. They're all designed to make the streets of Los Angeles more pedestrian-friendly, which many researchers say is a major part of Latino urbanism. These changes were in part started by Councilman Jose Huizar, who was born in Zacatecas, Mexico, and came to the United States with his parents during his early childhood. Huizar led to changes that legalized muralism and street vending in Los Angeles, and that eventually resulted in the current renovation of the streets and public spaces of Los Angeles. Huizar stated that in Mexico, every town has the local plaza, the town square. And then you come to a place like LA, and it's all about the car and how fast you can drive through different neighborhoods. Huizar's changes have helped to foster the sense of community, accessibility, and hospitality that is so commonly found in Mexican and Latin American cities. The first changes have merely added bike lanes and outside areas, but Huizar and the Los Angeles City Planning Council have larger, more intensive plans for the city. This sketch describes the proposed change that would transform an overpass of the 101 into a public park with a central roundabout designed to decrease the speed of passing cars, which would allow for more pedestrians and cyclists. And the fact that these changes are not just happening on the community level, but also on a city and sometimes even state governmental level, in a way as intensive as these plans, shows that this rising trend of Latino urbanism and Latino influence goes deeper and further than the recently immigrated communities drawn to Los Angeles' nearby commercial and industrial center. And so this is where we get to the significance of all of this, the so what of it all. And the question that this all addresses is how we define Latin America. Arguably, Latin America is not just confined within the borders of countries that we have defined as the region of Latin America. To me, these trends, muralism, architectural changes, and Latino urbanism, prove that Latin America stretches beyond its geographical borders, and subcultures of Latin America, like the ones found in Los Angeles and San Diego and California, Southern California as a whole. Latin America is a moving and evolving cultural area that is defined by communal expression and through the thoughts, expressions, cultures, traditions, and identities of the people within the community itself. This new understanding of Latin America allows for greater inclusion in the traditional historical narrative of Latin America for Chicano and Mestizo populations, those that have often been denied the title of Latino, and therefore the inherited culture, simply because they were born outside the geographical boundaries of Latin America. And so the final idea that I hope you take away from this is, your place in the world does not define your identity. Rather, the community's identity defines the space they are in, forming cultures and subcultures that exist outside of the strict geographical borders of a region. Thank you.